Hi, it's Zaira. If you've been playing Genshin recently, you've probably seen that there's a new event out right now. And this is a combat event, and usually these events are perceived well by the community. However, this event hits rock bottom and is, in my opinion, the worst event we've ever had. I don't think that it's burnout speaking in me per se. I really enjoy Genshin right now, but this event makes me wonder what is happening at Hoyoverse right now. This feels like the lowest effort event put out to this day. So let me prove this by making a list of 5 things that really stand out to me as low effort and low quality content. So firstly, it's the mechanic of this event, which is usually much more complex, but not really hard to understand. The mechanics of combat events that I'm talking about right now are like making up 4 teams at the same time, maybe clearing certain domains before moving to the next level, making a team where certain buffs completely change how you play your characters. And sometimes we get those events where you can parry attacks, and those are the best in my opinion. But now look at this event's mechanic. It is literally just make 2 teams where you use the same one character in both of your teams. Make 2 Zhongli teams, make 2 Bennett teams, make 2 Farina teams. It doesn't matter. And that is so lame and unprecedentedly lazy event design by Hoyoverse. And frankly, it doesn't matter what characters you choose, because let's go to the second point. You don't feel any necessity on choosing a certain reaction or a certain character in this event. Because the buff of this event is almost negligible, I would honestly just say that it's completely irrelevant, and yes, if you choose the proposed reaction, the lineup of enemies changes from time to time, but it doesn't matter. You don't get any crazy buffs or more points, even though it says so in the description. What I found out is that you get the same amount of points from newly spawned enemies, even though you're in theory supposed to be rewarded by interacting with the event's mechanic. Listen, the description is lying to you. You are still getting roughly the same amount of points, regardless of whether you proc the reaction or not. Example, like if I kill 4 slimes and get 100 points, why would I want to kill 2 ruin guards to get the same 100 points? They're harder to kill and take more time, and yes, they drop a bit more points, but that's not compensated by the amount of time that I spend killing these ruin guards. So I just don't see a reason to actually proc the event's mechanic. Also, what is very strange is that you don't even get any rewards for proccing the reaction. You only get rewards based on the amount of points that you got. And yes, this might be a good event for whales or for people who are just testing out their raw damage. But why? Why would I want to do that when I can test out my damage in overworld domains or in the abyss? And this event serves nothing. There's no special enemies, there's no hard enemies or extreme difficulties, nothing. So if I was looking to test out my team's damage, this event is not it. I would end up being quite disappointed in the end. Now, my third point is that there are no trial characters for some reason in this event. Yes, there is one character in each stage that you can try, but honestly, that's just not enough for me. And I would personally very like at least 4 characters for each stage, but if I was a newer player, I would actually want like 12 characters minimum so that I can actually claim all of the rewards. And besides that, just test out different characters, see what they do. Like, I don't think that it's that hard to put in a couple more trial characters for each stage. Like, is Risley the only character that can freeze enemies, or what?
Nope.
Point number 4, this event's enemies are a joke, literally the worst and laziest lineups I've ever seen. If you don't proc the event's mechanic, you legit only face slimes, or hilichurls, or midachurls. Depends on the stage, but honestly, it's just so cringe. Like, I'm bored of killing the same enemies for 2 minutes straight. Like, they die from air, not from my strikes, and then they respawn and then they die again, they respawn and then they die again. And you have to kill the same 4 slimes for 2 minutes. Like, whoever came up with the idea that this is going to be okay for this event legit needs to get fired. At least what I expect is that there is a mix of enemies that you face, maybe 2 hilichurls, a midachurl, and like 4 slimes in the first minute, and then it changes to something that is harder, like for example abyss mages or maybe rune guards. You get the idea, but no, it's just the same 4 hilichurls spawning in the exact same location over and over and over again. Boring. Now, my last point is that this event only has 5 parts to it, and that is ridiculous because usually these events have at least 6 parts, or in most cases, 7 parts. 6 easy ones, and then there's a seventh part that doesn't have any rewards or doesn't have any primo gem rewards, and that is considered like an extreme difficulty challenge. So this event, besides being boring, is just also super short. Like I don't actually remember when we got an event that was only 5 stages long. Now, I don't know what happened in Hoyoverse and why they decided to release such a low quality event. Actually, the worst combat event in history, and don't get me wrong, I'm judging this event only on the past combat events, not the minigame events. Minigame events, we've had worse. As for why Hoyoverse failed to meet my expectations, I honestly don't know. Maybe it was time, or maybe they were planning something that didn't really work out, and so they decided to change the event last minute, and we're probably never going to find out. But for me, unfortunately, this event really will go down in history as the worst combat event ever released in this game. And I really hope that Hoyoverse steps up and that next patch we're going to have a better quality combat event that will include a new mechanic or an old revamped one, which is going to be fun and at least enjoyable for some time. Now, thank you for listening. I know this was a bit of a rant and you might not agree with me. Leave a comment if you think otherwise. Also, I want to just quickly shout out my Ko-Fi page that I've created recently, and I do write a lot of poetry and prose, so if you're into that, you can check it out. But that's it for me. Thank you. Bye.